Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to talk about how I go about breeding these guys. Mealworms. Now you may have never bred your own live food before, and you may have been put off thinking that it's quite complicated and and that you need to use lots of special equipment. But I would say mealworms are a good place to start because you can achieve quite good results, quite easily with just the equipment, the type of containers that you have around the house as a tarantula keeper. So I'm going to show today how I do it, or how I've started to do it, and you really don't need much equipment at all, and it's quite cheap to do as well. So I hope you find today's video interesting, and hope it's helpful to someone. So let's crack on. So this is the list of the things you need. You've got one container here for your mealworms, one for your beetles, a colander, or preferably a sieve. Can't find my sieve at the moment. And lastly, a smaller container to put the pupa in. So you've got your mealworms from the shop. Now I pour them straight into a big container here. I have quite a thick floor covering here, but not too much. Now it's nice to have a lot of space because bear in mind there will be a lot of mealworms in here, and they will be added to as well. Now you might be wondering what this is at the bottom here. I'll just pop this down and I'll show you what it is. So my go-to substrate is just your normal porridge oats. Now I picked these up for 89p, I believe it was. That's for a 1 kilo bag. So it's definitely my substrate of choice. It smells nice and it's nice and dry too. So you've got your mealworms. Now you feed them up, with your vegetables like you normally do. Now you need to just wait for them to turn to the pupa stage. Now every few days I'll go through the oats and pick out the pupa as you see them. That way you don't have to go through hundreds. So this is where the small container comes in. The pupa that you pick out of the mealworms go into a separate container. Now I'm just using cocoa fibre here. Now these guys, they do creep me out a bit actually. They're a bit like chest bursters. But they're a bit creepy. But these ones are actually superworm pupa, but they're very similar looking, just much bigger. Now, as these turn to beetles, when they first turn to beetles, they come out white, but then they turn brown. So when they turn brown is when I transfer them into the beetle container. Now it's the same as picking the pupa out for the mealworms. Just go through every few days, or when the beetles appear, and you just pick them out and pop them in your beetle container. So that's the pupa stage. Now you can use a slightly bigger container there. Right, and down here we got your beetle container. So the beetles that you take out of the pupa container, just pop them in here. These guys have been in here for quite a few months now. They've been breeding like crazy in this hot weather. So that's pretty good really. Quite a good amount of beetles here. Obviously you don't know what ratio male to females you've got. So it's kind of luck of the draw really. I've got porridge oats in here again as my substrate. Just popped a bit of bark in there just for them to hide under, and so just feed them with your lettuce and your carrot, that kind of thing. So you have to wait quite a while for them to mate. Obviously you can't see the eggs in the porridge oats, So you have to wait for the mini mealworms to start appearing. And you see it's quite hard. It would be quite hard to see them in there. But I'm going to show you now how I separate the mini mealworms from the beetles. Now they really do hatch tiny, absolutely tiny. So I'll just pop these in another container. Get these guys out. So you've got your absolutely tiny mealworms mingling in with your beetles. Now I like to get them out quite quickly. So this is where your colander comes in. I just pop the whole lot in. Leave them a couple in the bottom, that's okay. Now I give it a good shake. And the tiny mealworms fall through the holes. Like I say, a sieve is better really because it's got a lot more holes. My colander's a bit rubbish really. I suppose you could drill a lot more holes in there. But yeah, you could pop it there, but I wouldn't risk it because I have a cup of tea. But the beetles will start climbing up the holes, so it's best to kind of keep an eye on them really. Now this is the kind of sieve I'd use, but this one's a bit too small. This is my one for making blackberry jam. So I don't use this one for creepy crawlies. But yeah, this is the kind of thing you need really, but slightly bigger holes would be better. But it's pretty cheap to pick something like that up. So I go through here, I have a look until I think I've got sort of most of the mealworms in here. That's not worth trying to show them because they're so tiny. But yeah, I could do this at the same, and you can repeat this process sort of in a couple of days' time again. If you think you've missed lots of mealworms. Let's say they've left a few at the bottom there, but I'll just pop the whole lot back in. Just keep an eye on there's no mealworm stuck in the colander still. I'll just pop the beetles back in there. Then they'll just carry on breeding for a while. Not quite sure what the lifespan of these guys is, but I've had these ones for absolutely months. So they're doing pretty well. I mean, obviously I feed them regularly. And there you go, back in their house. I'll just pop a bit more porridge oats in there. And I'll get some food for these guys. Pop them back on the shelf. Oh, I accidentally put that back in with the pupa. So I've got mealworm beetles in with superworm pupa here. So I'm going to have to pick these all out. Should have used an empty container. So there you go guys, I hope this video has been helpful. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe at some point in the future. So thanks for watching again guys, and I'll see you soon.